Hi guys, if you can't tell by my shirt, I'm going to be talking about Toy Story today. So, the 1995 Toy Story movie was the first for lots of different things. It was the first entirely computer animated film, it was the first full-length feature film, it was the first feature film from Pixar, and it created the debut of John Lasseter, who has directed so many amazing movies such as all the Toy Story movies, Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, Coco, and so many more amazing movies. Toy Story was kind of built off the idea of the 1989's Tin Toy short film that also John Lasseter directed. It was a really cute film, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's adorable. It's a little toy drummer named Tinny who runs away from this little baby who wants to, play with him, and he's very terrified. And of course, the idea of the toys alive kind of gave the idea of Toy Story, which is really, really cool. And it's a cute little film. And Tinny, the toy drummer in that short film, became the basis for Buzz Lightyear's character in Toy Story. So I think that's a great connection. And if you haven't, go watch it. That film's amazing. But anyways, Toy Story is a three-dimensional world full of color, movement, and amazing lighting, where classic childhood toys like Etch-a-Sketch, Mr. Potato Head, and Piggy Banks come to life without the knowledge of the owner. So besides the human life, no human life sees your toys come alive. They kind of just come alive on their own when you're not around. And I feel like that's such a cool and fun way to, create like, who would think to make a movie like that? I love it. Obviously it's my favorite movie of all time, and the trilogy is just so amazing. So if you haven't watched them, go watch it. Because right now I'm gonna talk about a few important lessons that Toy Story has not only taught me, but taught many adults, children of all ages, whoever you are. It has touched you in some way. Lots of people ask me, who's your favorite Toy Story character? If you love all the movies, you must have a favorite. And the thing is, I can't pick a favorite. I love them all so much. Of course, every toy has their flaw. Every toy has, their imperfections, and every toy is important. And I think choosing one is really, really hard because they all do amazing things and they all make mistakes. It's kind of like humans. But I think definitely obviously my favorites are Woody and Buzz. I love Bo Peep. I loved her better when she was in Toy Story. I think nowadays, we're expect that women are strong, independent women, and of course they are. But I love Bo Peep when she's just this delicate porcelain doll, and her love interest is Woody, and I just love the complexity of that and everything. I also love Lenny. If you don't know who that is, a lot of people don't know. He's a little binoculars guy, and I actually have a toy of him. I love him so much. I think he's the cutest thing ever, and his voice is adorable, and he's always there to help. He's never gonna say, oh no, you can't look through my eyes and, see what's outside. He's always there. He's always at that windowsill ready for the toys to look out to see what's going on. So I think he's a strong role, and even though he's not the most important character, I think he shines a lot of light, and I think he's adorable. So, but anyways, I'm going to talk about some characters and specifics, and why they really make the movie so amazing. So, of course, Woody, as we first see him, he is the leader of the room, and, he has a lot of power and control of the other toys because he is the leader, and he can come off as a little snobbish, and he can come off a little bit selfish because, he wants everything to be in line. And if, you're breaking his rules and you're breaking the code, he's going to call you out on it. He's going to get upset. And I think, a lot of people don't really like him because of that. But, I think throughout all four movies, we have to see Woody grow. And of course, by the end of Toy Story 4, we see that he is not just selfish because, he's ignorant, whatever. It's because he's loyal, and that's a big part of Woody. He's loyal to Andy, he's loyal to his group, all the other toys, and that's what makes him so strong. And that's why he gets really defensive, because he wants to always be that strong leader. And in Toy Story 4, we really see how much that really affects him. But in Toy Story, we right off the bat see him as this strong male role that he's the leader, and that he's gonna do anything to protect these other toys and do anything to protect Andy and, keep him happy, because that's his job and that's the toy's job, and he keeps everybody in line. And Slinky kind of being, his right-hand man on that too, Slinky's just a fun, he's a fun little slinky dog, and he's always loyal to Woody, and that, creates the whole idea of loyalty within the movie. And even though that's a small, insignificant little connection they have between each other, I think it grows and grows and grows throughout not only Toy Story, but the trilogy itself. Also, we see Buzz. We first see Buzz as this kind of naive space ranger who has no idea he's a toy, and he's just he thinks he's all this, and he's really not a space ranger, and no one understands that, except, he's just kind of trapped in his own little world, and, he doesn't really realize his purpose until he notices he can't fly, and he realizes, he watches that his action figure toy commercial, and it says not an actual space ranger, not an actual toy, and he gets really heartbroken because people are, Woody is like telling him, you're not a real space ranger, like, get over yourself. And he's not gonna let some cowboy doll tell him what he's not. But real life television, and when he tries for himself that he can't fly and breaks his arm, he realizes, like, I'm a fool, this is not who I am. And he really gets down on himself. And when he realizes his purpose with Woody, when he's strapped to the rocket and they're having this conversation, and Woody's like, you may be a toy, but Andy loves you. Look at you, you're super cool. And, you should always be there for him because he thinks you're the coolest. And it really shows when he realizes his purpose and he wants to get off the rocket, and, he realizes, he's a cool guy because he's a toy. Like, being a toy makes him cool, and that's super important. And that's when he realizes this purpose of his, it really sheds light on the idea of how we have purposes in life. And I don't know my purpose in life, like, you don't know your purpose in life. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you will realize your purpose in life someday, whether it's tomorrow, today, next week, next month, in years, whatever it may be. But when you realize your purpose, it gives you a sense of belonging, it gives you a sense like, this is what I was made to do. And when he realizes this, it kind of sheds light on that idea that we shouldn't be upset that we don't understand who we are, yet we shouldn't be upset that we're not doing the right thing, like, you will realize it one day, and when it comes, you'll be so grateful. I want to talk about also Mr. Potato Head and Ham. I love them so much. They're obviously the comic relief in Toy Story, because even though sometimes it gets really heated and they have arguments, between Woody and Buzz, and, their fight over who's the leader, they really are really funny about it, and they add this sort of light to all the conflict going on, and I just think there's so many funny things going on between them, and they're really stable characters as comic relief throughout all the movies. So we kind of see this established within the first 5 minutes of the film. We see how funny they are. One other character I really want to talk about, who you wouldn't think I'd be talking about, is Sid. If you don't know who Sid is, he is the guy with the skull on his shirt, and he is sort of the villain in Toy Story. He's the crazy kid who wants to blow stuff up, blow toys up, and even though we don't really see him as having a purpose because he's the villain, he creates such a huge purpose within this film that lots of people don't see. For starters, Sid brought Woody and Buzz together. They kind of understand after being in Sid's place how when they work as a team in a group together that they can do anything. They fly off a rocket off of RC and end up falling with style. And they kind of realize when they put their heads together and make plans, and when, this bond is, created between them, they see how much they can accomplish, and how even though they're not exactly similar, they all want the best for themselves and for the other toys, and they both kind of realize the ideal of loyalty to Andy and the other toys. And when Sid brings them together, and they have to find a way out of Sid's place and not end up dying, I think that kind of creates their bond between them, and that's one of the most important pieces all the Toy Story films is their bond and how their friendship is so strong. And when we see that established at the end of the movie, we really feel happy, for them. And, we realize, like, that's important. I also want to, along with Sid, talking about Sid, when they're trying to get out of Sid's house, and Andy's is right across, you know how the windows are right next to each other, and there's that whole window scene where Woody's like, help us out, like, help us get over there. And of course Mr. Dinhead's like, whoa, you murdered him, what are you talking about? And I feel like, as soon as that scene's over and you see Slinky's face, it creates a sense of sadness, because it's like we know as a viewer, it's like, Buzz is there, he didn't murder him, he's there. And I feel like at the end of the movie, we kind of see that the toys need trust with each other. I mean, at the end of the movie, we see how, Slinky and Mr. Data Head make sure that Woody can't get on that truck because, he thinks he's a murderer. And, at the end of the movie, we realize that they need trust. All the toys need trust within each other in order to, have a successful life with Andy. And trust is a huge, huge ideal in this movie as well between the characters, because, it creates chaos, because you don't know who's right, who's wrong, because you've only seen one side. And trusting, especially your leader, Woody, especially trusting the leader of the group and all the toys, that's how they work well together, is when they all trust each other and they're all loyal to each other. That's when they thrive the most. So I think Sid's character really creates lots of good ideals, such as friendship and trust, within the whole group of toys that Andy has. But overall, I think every character and every scene in Toy Story create this important, valuable, and hilarious connection to every viewer. So leaving on that note, I hope you guys go watch Toy Story and recognize all these fun ideals and all the fun parts of Toy Story that I know and love and have loved since I was very, very young. So thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and don't forget to go watch Toy Story.